Hey, what's up everybody? This is Josiah with Awaken with Mark. On this channel, if you're new here, we like to show what happens when a Black American family relocates to the continent of Africa. Today's video is an excerpt from a previous interview that I did. It's about an hour long, the original, and you can find that on my personal channel, Beyond 301. I'll link that in the description for you. But today is about a 15-20 minute excerpt from that video with the founder of Grace Villa Sanctuary, Miss Ruth Ndyabahika. And she settled out in Uganda, Kabale, Uganda specifically, where she built the Grace Villa Sanctuary for at-risk girls. Using the power of education and the performing arts like dance, she's saving a lot of lives with her staff and her team over there. And so again, we wanted to make this video for those of you who are always interested in really powerful causes on the continent of Africa. We spent time with Miss Ruth. We celebrated a close friend's birthday in Kabale, Uganda, where we met the young students of Grace Villa. And in this interview, Miss Ruth just talks about her life in Boston, her background in child psychology, and what galvanized and inspired her to start a home back in her native Uganda to help these young girls. Grace Villa has celebrated 10 years of operation at the time of this video. And if you're interested in learning more, all the information will be in the link, linked in the description of this video. Without further ado, let's check out the interview with Miss Ruth. Enjoy, guys. And the instructor is here today to chat about the school, about her students, about her life, about the importance of art and dance, song, and more in her life. So I'm not going to try to say her last name because I don't want to mess it up, but I want you all to help me welcome Ruth. Ruth, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, Josiah. Thank
Hello.
you. So nice to see you again. Nice to be here on your podcast.
What Grace Villa is, and would you mind sharing some of the beginnings of what it was like founding it and putting it together, and the offerings, and what makes it so important?
So if people were to ask me what Grace Villa is, it's a home for girls who need a safe place to be. So we used to say it's an orphanage, but it's not just an orphanage because some of the kids we have are not orphans, but they were in an unsafe space in their own homes, facing abuse, facing all sorts of abuse, and pulled out by the police and brought to our home. So we are a safe space for girls who need a safe place to be. So right now we have 215 children in our care.
Wow.
But in the home, I live with how many are we now? I think we're now 25 kids in my house. By the time a kid comes to live with me in the house, you just know that we fail to find a safe home because our preference is for them to be in a family environment.
Sure.
So the ones who are with us are the ones who we fail to find a family environment for, or if their family was unsafe. Yeah. So at this point, we only take kids who are brought to us by the police or by probation officers. We don't accept kids unless they're brought to us, in those situations. So we work really, really well with the police and with those stakeholders. So we do. So our home set is just a home. My vision, what I wrote down in that book, was to have a home for a maximum of 20 kids. We were only going to have 20 kids in Grace Villa. They were all going to go to a fancy private school. We're supposed to have a maid. We're supposed to have a van. We're supposed to have, it was this wonderful, beautiful vision that I had, which would have worked if I hadn't moved home to actually be the mother in the house. So it's almost impossible to be in a situation where a kid comes in crying in through your door and tells you the whole story. And each kid has a tragic story. And you know that if you don't take this kid in, this kid will either be on the street, this girl, little kid, or will be in a home being beaten up or sexually abused or something. But if you bring her in, then that kid will come to safety. So within a year, we had 80 kids. The 20 went up the roof.
Wow.
We didn't put anyone in private schools. They're all in the public school system, which is fine for us. And that was 9 years ago. So today we have over 200 kids. What we do is beyond the home now, beyond the safety. Education was always part of the plan. So every single kid is in school. Every single kid gets food. Gets nutrition and food, healthcare, vocational skill. Everyone has to have a vocational skill, which is how dancing came in. So part of our vocational skills, they all need to be things that teach a trade, can actually make money, so that besides the education, because in Uganda, just an education is rarely enough. So besides the education, you have something like tailoring or baking that you do really, really well. Yes. Dancing actually brings in a good income if you do it well. And then we also have sports. So we're big on soccer, and we actually have we've won some district championships, which is great.
That is great. Wow.
But then on top of that, we have many kids so we also get kids who are taken in on soccer scholarship. So that helps a lot with the education as well. So we have, I think, like 16 kids now in full football scholarships in Uganda. Yeah. Thank you for clapping. He's clapping.
Yes. No, you're
anyway,
welcome.
So yes. So those are our main interventions. So basically what we do is we are breaking down barriers that exist so that our children can actually succeed in life. Yeah. So one of the biggest barriers that we found, so a lot of it has been learning through experience. So I didn't know that Kabale has prevalent rape and molestation. I didn't know this. Wow. I didn't know that, I didn't know the extent of the HIV prevalence here. I knew that it existed, but I didn't know that it was so widespread. Okay. So this place it's actually such a beautiful area, but then with a lot of hardship, there's a lot of hardship. So I'm glad I'm here because, one of my inspirations now, if you ask me now, what is my biggest inspiration? One of my biggest inspirations is the kids themselves who come to me for help. Most of them are passionate about education. Actually, all of them. That's like their big dream in life. And I remember how with us, they used to wake us up and force us to school. With them, with them, school is, that's like their life. Joy. Yes. Yeah. And I think it's because they've seen it for themselves. And it's a fact that this is one surefire way to get out of like cycles of poverty. These cycles that of poverty, of having kids, child marriages, and just so. I actually I have so many examples in front of me of kids who I didn't, and it breaks my heart. Like a kid who I didn't take, within a year, she's married, and she's young, she's 14, she's 15. And that's it for her. She's just going to have 7 kids. They're going to always be hungry. They're not going to be healthy. They're not going to. So then I see also the other side, and I see how, because our kids who we are taking, our kids and their families and their communities, we're actually seeing great change right in front of our eyes. So it inspires me as well, because our kids are amazing. And I think it's also, it's something that pushes us even through struggles and all that. It pushes us to keep going.
That's amazing. That's really, really powerful. What was it like? How did you determine finding the right other instructors and adult professionals to help you cultivate this culture and this curriculum and make this home safe? What was that like, kind of assembling your team?
Yeah, good question. Sadly, I didn't have a team because I couldn't afford a team in the beginning. I didn't have a good team. Yeah. So, but I was so lucky in those 3 months that I came prior to starting the home. I met a young man who was the youth chairperson. Basically, it's like a government position, but it's given to youth, like college age. So he was in charge of youth. So he heard about what I was planning to do, took my card, gave me his, and just became a lifeline. So he's the one who helped me get registered the right way. He's the one who helped me learn that you need to be friends with the boda guy, and which market to go to, and all those things that I would have never ever thought about. So, and he also introduced, and then I also joined that group that walks, the trekking group. And through that group, I met headmasters and nurses, and so they became our network of people who I would call when I needed help. I also became friendly with the police, and ever since then, up to today, I think my closest friends are the police, which is helpful because I'm always at the police station with some case or the other.
Wow.
And so to get the right help, and I still, I don't know who listens to your podcast, so I'll mention it and say we're constantly looking for people to come and help. Like if someone wants to take a sabbatical and come and teach, or wants to take a sabbatical and come and help in administrative work with us, we would be really, really grateful, because we're not under any organization. So we live almost day to day. For some reason, if you even have people who don't write grants, because I've found that that's not my gift, because I've written 1,000 and never got anything. So we're always living day to day, which is tough, but has also created our culture at home, where the kids know that Auntie Ruth wakes up struggling to find your school fees, find your food, so nobody takes anything for granted at all. And then everybody is really happy for what we get. If somebody brings us a bunch of bananas, we dance, like we're thrilled. So it's created a culture of not taking things for granted. Yeah. And then it's also raising children who also want to bring into the home. We have some of our oldest kids. One of our kids is in university. She got a full scholarship in Mauritius, which is
wow. I've been learning about Mauritius. Yeah. Congratulations!
It's beautiful. We can't wait for her graduation, so we all go and experience.
Yes,
Mauritius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and she's in a very strong university, which you could have heard of in Rwanda. They have one of their branches is in Rwanda called Africa Leadership University. So she is in Mauritius, and she is on full scholarship and gets some pocket money and got a job in the cafeteria and worked really hard. Came home about a month and a half ago with all her savings, and said her plan was to buy land for Grace Villa. So we went and she found land and actually bought a plot of land for the home. And she's spending a holiday cultivating so that we have food from that. So this is our child.
Yes.
And I attribute it to the way we are in the home. She's working hard instead, and I love this. She said to her sisters, her Grace Villa sisters, she said, savings takes humility. Because she said, I'm not buying the cool clothes which the other kids are buying. I'm not going out to the cool fast food places with all of them. And I'm working. And by the way, she ran for vice president and won. So she's a vice president of the college. Wow. But she's still working. She's serving the other students. So they're all saying, but you're the vice president. But she knows what her target is. She knows what she's aiming for. So she came home with, I think it was 14 million Uganda shillings, and bought a plot of land. Yeah. So yeah. I'm not saying I love that we are struggling. I mean, I'd rather that I think we should be done at this point.
Of course.
But
yes.
There's a flip side to it, There's a flip side to it. And then I also purposely wanted it to be a Ugandan, an African run and funded, not only, but predominantly. I wanted the girls to grow up proud of being Ugandans.
Yeah.
And what brings that pride? you know, who are you surrounded by? Who is uplifting you? Who's lifting you up? You know, maybe I don't know if I should go here or not, but there was a tendency, there is, for if a foreigner, like a person comes in, I would say a white person, I don't know who comes. People get excited when they see. So you edit it if I'm saying the wrong words. So people would get excited when they see people of a different color come into their school or into their village, because they always attributed this to wealth, you know.
Right.
And they always knew that the people who were rescuing them or paying for their education were always a different color, you know. So, but in our home, kids know that it's everybody, you know.
Yes. Okay.
And to be honest, the people who are more there are their color, you know. So, and to me, that was very important.
Yes.
So for me, that was very, very important. So, but one thing that it's done is, we're struggling financially, you know, but we are making it. So it's been 9 years. We hit 10 years next year, and I'm very proud to say that we were funded by a woman, you know.
Yes.
We're a woman-run organization and an African woman-run organization, and then predominantly funded and supported by people just like the kids.
Wow.
Has that all made sense? I hope it's come out right. You know.
Yes, no, that all made sense. It's everyone's contributing, but it's also like you said, it's African, and then you whittle it down. It's Ugandan women saving women. Everyone's contributing, but it's that sense of, that makes perfect sense, of just putting that strength, wisdom, savviness, education, humility, lovingness on display. And it's like you're taking in yourself and being able to bask in the rewards as they come. You face the challenges as they come together, but it gives you a sense. It still solidifies something powerful about yourself. You get to learn something about yourself. Where do you, as we close, where do you see Grace Villa in the future? Your vision.
Yeah, we've been thinking about that a lot because of the 9 years that have passed, and now we're hitting, next year is 10 years of Grace Villa, and we actually invite you to come and join us for our 10-year anniversary. We have a week long of festivities planned.
Can't wait.
So yes, so we realized the importance of having a vocational center of our own, like a big space that is not a school, but a vocational center where we'll have a stage to perform on and invite people to come and watch us perform, and a space to practice, not under a tree because of our, you know, weather and dust and all that. We want to have our own little coffee shop in that vocational center, which is an outlet for the things that we bake. In that place, we'll have a space for tailoring because we have some really good machines that were donated to us, but we need a proper space in which to do that. And that tailoring center, after COVID, we evolved to also include parents or guardians of girls who look after us, who lost their jobs during COVID. So we need a bigger space for that. And it will also have a place for making shoes, like all the different things that we do. We do mat weaving. So we need a proper space that will house all of that. So that's what we're working. That's what our goal is for 10 years of Grace Villa. So growing up to become a bit more self-sustainable through that vocational training center. Oh, it will have a proper library. Right now, our library is our garage because we don't have a car. So we turned our garage space into a really fantastic library that is open to all kids in the community, and they really, really come through. So we want a bigger, more proper space. So basically, we're just creating a bigger space in which to put all our different projects and activities in it. So that's where we see ourselves in the next couple of years.